Welcome back to PAULY'S Perspective. Today we are doing a spoiler review of the new Fantastic Four First Steps movie. And finally, do we have a quality movie? Be sure to hit that sub button for me, like this video, and comment down below what your first thoughts of the movie was. Finally, Marvel proves once again that they are still capable of making magic. From the very beginning, I cared and believed in every second of this film. My suspension of disbelief was not harmed whatsoever. Everything flowed beautifully. Everything had heart. The acting was absolutely incredible on all fronts. Now, I'm a comedy guy. I love when there's hints of humor, properly timed, in all of these movies. But when you set out to make a serious movie first, a drama first, and you wrap and encompass these characters in heart and sincerity, it gives the movie the integrity it needs so that you can drop a little joke here and there. And I think they absolutely nailed it with this movie. Also, the musical score by Michael Giacchino. Absolutely epic. Music is so very important to me, especially in films, and he absolutely nails it. He's also done many of the other epic scores that we love in all of these Marvel movies. They definitely got to figure it out with Michael Giacchino. I hope I'm saying your name right, dude. I am Italian as well. I would say Giacchino. I don't think it's Giacchino, because that just doesn't, just too much, and the music's great. Every aspect of this had charm and charisma, including Herbie the robot. Who doesn't want their own Herbie the robot now? Pedro Pascal, for me, in anything he does, there's heart and sincerity, and he nails it. Whether it's a serious character, a funny character, or everything in between, he is the epitome of vulnerability and integrity as an actor in a scene. I absolutely loved him as Reed Richards. He's probably my favorite rendition that I've seen so far. And I would love to see Pedro's Reed interact with Robert Downey's Tony Stark. Hopefully we get that somewhere, maybe Secret Wars, we'll see. But obviously there's going to be a great dynamic between him and RDJ as Dr. Doom as well. Vanessa Kirby absolutely killed it in this role. Everything she says, from the way she talks to the sound of her voice, the presence she demands on screen is brilliant. She has such a powerful presence, and what she brought to each scene really added to how charming this whole movie is. Ebon Moss-Bachrach, I absolutely love his portrayal of the Thing. He played this part with such subtle, genuine, nonchalantness. Okay. His presence was so soft, it counteracts how he looks. And I found that to be so infectious just watching him execute this role. And everything he said, I was hanging on his word because it was so chill. The dynamic between Ebon and Joseph Quinn, I thought, was the most natural. We're used to seeing these guys poke fun at each other in a bad way from the old movies, but seeing them playfully jab at each other just like siblings would. No, Johnny. Say it! I don't wanna! It felt much more genuine and organic. In fact, all four of them had such organic chemistry that I think that was the key in what made this movie so great. I genuinely cared about these characters. Compared to something like Superman, which everybody's making a big deal about. Good luck with that. I think it was a decent movie, but people talk about superhero fatigue, and I think Superman is the epitome of what that is. Throwing all these characters that we don't really know together, Mr. Terrific, Hawk Girl, who, I don't care. I don't care about C and D characters unless you make me care. Superman didn't make me care about any of those characters. I thought David Cornswet was great in the role. I thought Nicholas Hoult did a great job as Lex Luthor, but the storyline really lacked for me, and it doesn't even compare to what they've achieved with Fantastic Four. In this movie, even if you've never seen or know who the Fantastic Four are, it genuinely makes you care about their lives, who they are to each other, what their purpose is. Everything about each of these characters has been relatable. Of course, you've never been a giant rock figure in a thing, but there's heart there that you can genuinely connect with. And that's what's so brilliant about how Marvel executed this Fantastic Four First Steps movie. Julia Garner did a great job with Shia LaBeouf's Silver Surfer.
There is nothing you can do to stop him.
I did not miss the male version of Silver Surfer at all in this movie. I thought it was perfectly executed, and I really cared about her connection to her roots, Galactus, and the Fantastic Four. I think it was very unique and interesting to have her and Johnny have that chemistry for some comedic effect that I still don't think went overboard. I thought it was perfectly timed and with great taste. As for Galactus, wow. I've never cared more about a large figure in a movie. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man's got nothing on what they did with Galactus. the graphics and the effects were incredible and so intriguing with the magnitude of Galactus. I really felt the magnitude of Galactus and his ship and how he even operates. I loved the eyes. I loved the sound effects. It truly captured an amazing character. I never really cared about Galactus before this. And as you can see, I love to collect figures. And I feel like Galactus might be the first figure I'm going to buy. Gonna be like this big. But Ralph Ineson did a great job. I loved the voice. I loved the texture in the voice. I loved the texture in the suit, in his whole body, and the electronics, and just the way the whole thing operates was amazing to me. Honestly, I almost forgot that I was there watching a superhero movie. That's how good this movie was. When you can take fantastical, mythical characters that could never really exist in our real world, and you make it believable, realistic enough for me to actually believe that these people could have these powers and that these scenarios could actually exist, that's when you've achieved greatness and magic in movie making. That's when you've achieved greatness in storytelling. And this one is a flawless story, in my opinion. It was absolutely soulfully fulfilling for me. Listen, I enjoyed the Fantastic Four, but I didn't really care about them as much as I do now after watching this movie. And I am so excited to see their future in the MCU now and see what happens in Doomsday and Secret Wars and beyond that with these characters. Even my wife didn't really care or want to see this stuff. She does enjoy superhero movies, but she wasn't so excited about this one. She didn't really grow up with it and didn't know what to expect. But she was also wholesomely intrigued the whole way through. But Sue Storm dies, again, a testament to the acting. Pedro Pascal's acting, Joseph Quinn, the emotion in their eyes, the vulnerability. I believed, that she was gone and that how heartbreaking it was for these people. Even with the baby crying, amazing addition to that scene to have the baby feel Sue's presence leave her body. Love how they depicted that. My wife and I were both in tears. I looked over. That's how I knew my wife loved the movie. I looked over. Her face was glistening in the movie light. A few moments in this movie really got me. I felt it. I cared. Another thing I loved about that scene with Sue Storm's death, the baby is crying. It knows that it's lost its mother. And when they place the baby on top of her chest and you just see his hands embrace her like this, obviously we knew that he was going to resurrect her in one way or another. But the way that they decided to depict this, the baby didn't start glowing, magic dust and stuff didn't start coming out of his hands. We just see that his touch, his simple touch, without any magical anything happening around him, is what brought her back to life. And we see his power in her eyes when she awakens and she's got the cosmos in her eyes. That's how we see the power that he has. And I love that choice. That choice is so much more interesting than the typical, oh, the baby now has powers. We're going to see his hands glow and her body's going to start glowing and that's how it revives her. And it was so much more intriguing and so much more powerful, in my opinion. It really hits you as a viewer, no matter if you're a fan or seeing it for the first time. Hands down, got to be one of my favorite Marvel movies to date. And it's been so long since I've felt that way watching a Marvel movie or a Marvel series. So finally, it seems like they are getting back to the quality movies that we're making like we saw in Infinity War and Endgame. Now, the end credits scene where we see Franklin interacting with Dr. Doom himself. First of all, I love that they didn't show RDJ's face. I think that needs to be saved for Doomsday. We all are waiting to see it. I didn't think that they were going to, blow that up right now. I love that you see a classic Dr. Doom mask that I'm sure will change. We'll see different variations of it. But I love the classic green hood, and I just love that interaction. Now, even though they don't show the face, it is clearly suggested that the baby is reaching out and touching Doom on the face. And since we know that Franklin has healing powers and can bring people back to life, this may actually be healing that classic scar that we know Doom has. And maybe that'll be part of how they reveal his face, or not. Maybe nothing's happening there, but among the fandom, that is what's being discussed, that he is healing that scar on Doom's face, and that we might see that kind of reveal in the Doomsday movie. In fact, this scene and the end credits scene from Thunderbolts, I'm sure will be included in the Doomsday movie, and we'll get more answers that we want there. And what I thought was interesting too is that they didn't at all address the Thunderbolts end credits scene in this movie. And that's another thing I think I love about this movie, is that they let it be its own movie. This movie stands alone by itself. You don't need to know the connected story, even though that's part of what most of us love about all these Marvel movies, that it is all interconnected and beautifully done so. And I just absolutely can't wait to see more of the characters we love interact with these Fantastic Four characters that we absolutely love now too. Another brilliant thing they did, they let the emotion of each scene, of each character settle. They let it hug us and, let us really feel it. And all these great serious moments weren't ruined with some poorly timed, terrible joke like so many other Marvel movies have. That's why Marvel's lost a lot of fans, because they just become comedies. And the comedy has overtaken the drama. The drama should always be what's set in stone first. And that's where real comedy is revealed, because in life, real life is serious. And it's so important that we learn how to laugh at these serious things. It's what gets us by. It's the gravity of the situation that needs to be felt and lived and experienced to have anything funny even be that funny. Sometimes the darkest of moments spawns the funniest of jokes. It's finding the perfect blend and balance of that, and timing is everything. And this movie got it right. Nothing felt rushed, nothing felt forced. It was a one-piece unit of flow and heart and vulnerability. And they let us really soak in that emotion. And that, I think, single-handedly is what makes this movie so brilliant. Thank you guys for listening to Paulie's Perspective. I know by the time I sit down and edit this, I'm going to remember things that I should have said, that I wanted to say. If you think I missed anything, please let me know down below. Let me know what you loved about the movie. And again, I really appreciate it if you hit that sub button and like this video. I will continuously be talking about all the things I love to nerd out about, and your support really, really helps me. Thanks for nerding out with me, and this has been Paulie's Perspective. See you in the next one.